want me out of there again? I'm gonna have to strap this roof down. Go ahead. Keep going.
Well, we are back at it with another project here at the shop. What is it? This thing, no pun intended, is a 1974 VW thing, and it has a very rare top to it. From what I understand, this was a factory option hardtop, and it's there. Let me tell you, it's in rough shape, but it's there. And actually, I know it looks terribly rough, which it is for usually everything on this channel, but that's kind of our thing. We like to make them look nice. But anyhow, we have all the parts for this thing. We got all the doors, all the fenders. The only thing we don't have is the funny hood on it. It's the only thing we don't have, and I guess that emblem I didn't come across, but you can buy that stuff online. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with this project. This was kind of a fluke, and I'm gonna explain the story here. So if you'd rather skip it, I do have a timestamp down below, but I kind of like to look back at these videos, potentially when I'm older, and go, well, how the heck did I find that one? So this is for future Nick. So anyhow, the story goes is that I'm a part of a Facebook page, and it's called the Chicago Petrolhead Spotters. And this is a group where people post cool cars, maybe funny cars, anything vehicle related in the Chicagoland area. And one day I was happening to be scrolling on Facebook, and I saw in the Chicago Petrolhead Spotters that somebody posted a picture of several vehicles down this street. And the guy said, these are all within a few hundred feet of each other. And one of the cars was really old, it was sitting on the side of the road. Another one was sitting in a driveway. And his last picture was this guy. And I thought, well, I've always wanted to own a VW thing. And from the picture, it was kind of like that. And I saw the back of it like this, and I knew it was a VW thing. And actually somebody commented saying, well, what's up with the thing? And he didn't reply, of course. So I thought, well, I'm gonna shoot my shot here, and I'm going to see if he's gonna reply to me. So I shot him a message and I said, hey, this is a long shot. Kind of showing you the overview here, check this out. This is how I think, guys. I see projects like this, and I sent him a message and I said, this is probably a long shot, and you probably get this a lot because I have seen his name before in it. I said, total long shot, but any chance you want to give up that spot location for that orange VW thing? I said, if not, no worries, totally understand. I was very polite about it. And he actually hits me back and he says, I only remember the street they are on, here you go. So I went to Google Images, or I'm sorry, Google Maps, and I Google mapped the street, and I found the house where it was located. It was still on the Google Maps. That's how long this thing was sitting there. And I sent a letter in the mail to him, and not more than a month later, I get a phone call, and he says, yep, you know, I'm gonna be moving. I wanna clean up the house. Come get this thing. And he asked me, he goes, how much, or what do you think it's worth, I think is what he said. Not how much would you pay. I think he said, what is it worth to you? And I said, well, in all honesty, like in my letter said, I didn't actually see the vehicle. I saw it from the street on Google Street Maps. And he said, well, I want $2,000 for it. And I thought, well, it's not too far away. It was about an hour and a half from my house. Maybe 2 hours. It was probably closer to 2 hours. But anyhow, I said, well, are you available today? It was a Sunday, and it was early in the morning when he called me. He said, yeah, I'll be here all day. So we loaded up the trailer, headed down there, and I tried my luck. We showed up, and this is what I walked up to. I basically stated I wasn't interested in it at all, but on the phone I did mention I was into the old school jet skis, the stand-ups, and he said, well, I got a wet bike, and we went into this pool house that had been pretty much abandoned next to his house for a long time, and there was a wet bike and there was a Yamaha Tri-Zinger. I've always wanted one of those, and we basically made a package deal, and I ended up leaving his house with this beauty and a Tri-Zinger, Yamaha Tri-Zinger, little three-wheeler, and the wet bike. So that's the story. That's how it is on this thing. He told me that he bought it out of a storage unit. The guy wanted to restore it. We see how that went. He did all this cutting in here. He put all this on here. So pretty gross. So anyhow, why don't you see, now that story time's over, I'm gonna see if there's any bees in here. Maybe we'll have some friends waiting for us. Check this out. Oh yeah. I haven't watched a ton of videos on these. Musty One, I'm a big fan of Musty One. He does a lot of this stuff, and I've kind of watched some videos. Looks like the coil might need a little power to it, 12 volts, and usually these Solex carburetors. I really do enjoy these Solex carburetors. They're kind of goofy, but like I said, I do enjoy working on them. They're pretty fun to work on. They have a bunch of adjustments and auto choke and all that, but these Solex carburetors are pretty cool. And so why don't you say I get you up on the stand? I got some tools, I got some bee spray. Maybe some mice will come running out at us. Maybe grab a snack or something to drink, and let's see if we can't get this thing going. I'll go grab the keys, got the jump pack. Don't even know if the motor's free. Why don't we just put our hand on it? Oh yeah. Okay, so that's good. We get a free motor. So let me go get the keys. I got the jump pack behind me. It's the only thing I forgot. It's got a Scat exhaust on there. Forgot to tell you guys that. Scat exhaust. I think the logo's on there somewhere. Scat exhaust. Pretty cool. All right, let me get you set up. Let's see if we got anything. So like I was saying before, I've only really learned whatever from Musty One. And I'm gonna say that everything, okay, got some moving. Pretty much everything I think is gonna be froze up. That's your automatic choke up here. We'll probably pop this off. I'm gonna spray everything down, start letting it soak. We'll probably have to file those points. Before we even do that though, I was just kind of looking around this thing and I thought, well, how the heck do you hook up the battery? And usually on these old VWs, it's always behind the rear seat. So that's our positive, that's good. I'm assuming this is probably some positive stuff that was supposed to go on there. Nothing there. And then I was like, well, where in the world is the ground cable? I guess I could always ground it just to the vehicle. And I don't know if that is going to ground. Let's go rig something up, I guess. I'll go get the jump pack. Let's see if we got any lights or anything. let's just start letting that all soak. To your accelerator pump over here. All right, before I even mess, we're trying to find new ground, just for the fun of it. See if that creates anything for us. I doubt it, but it's always fun to just try. Oh, check that out. See if it bumps over. Let's see if we got hazards. No hazards. Check that out. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess let's probably check to see if there's any oil in it. It's probably a good step before we actually. Oh yeah, it's got oil in there. Pretty light oil, but doesn't look like any water is in there. Let's pop off this carburetor, just make sure there's no mouse nest in there. I'm assuming it probably stopped there before it got there. And let's see if it starts on a little starting fluid. These Solex carburetors are actually, oh, check that out, it's already loose. Getting actually kind of hard to find. Let's see what we got. Somebody add that off. Where am I going with this thing? Just put it there for now. Let's give you guys a peek in there. See anything? All right, let's see if we got anything to move on this carb. Ooh, that's still stuck pretty good. There we go. So the throttle cable, I believe, runs right through this thing. Actually, I can hear it moving up out of the puddle. Before we even put anything in it, I'm gonna crank it over for a few seconds. Hopefully it can build some oil pressure or something. That all moves pretty well, actually. How about the automatic choke? Oh, check that out. Automatic choke works good. Or at least moves. All right, let me just crank it over for a few seconds. I'll back you guys up, see if you see any critters run out of here. Sounds like it's actually building oil pressure. I'm gonna keep you guys rolling. How does that sound? I'm just gonna back you up a little more. See if it pops off. I'm gonna say we're gonna have to jump in there and see if we can't clean those points really quick. Wow, this fairly looks new, guys. Check that out. See that? Looks pretty good. Not bad. Let me go get some sandpaper and let's try filing out that point right there. Yeah, those points don't look that great. Yeah, those points look pretty corroded. Not sure if you can see how white that is, but pretty dang white in there. If not, we'll grab either a multimeter and see if we got 12 volts up to the coil there. But look at that. Sitting since 2005? 2005-ish? Hey, it'd probably help if we, Hey, could you speak up there? Why don't you say something to me? All right. Hold on here. Get you guys a better angle. Sounds like she wants to take off running. This is always a bad sign right here. This is just the very little knowledge I have of these Solux carburetors. There's supposed to be a rod right here that comes off and it pushes this back. And this is the choke. And there's supposed to be an automatic choke going on here. Usually if you unplug it from down here, this is the solenoid. If you unplug this, it should click and go crazy. I didn't hear anything. But there's supposed to be a rod that pushes, just barely touches this cam right here. And so it just barely pushes on that, and that kind of fluctuates with the automatic choke. But since I don't hear any power, I'll grab a test light and we'll just poke around a little bit. But there should be 12 volts up to here, 12 to that solenoid obviously. The coil we know has the 12 volts now. So let me go grab a test light and let's poke around a little. All right, so we got a ground there. Let me go turn this key. You know what, now I'm hearing clicking. You guys probably can't hear anything because of these awesome cars that are flying by. But when I turn in that key, I hear clicking. So that's a good sound. It's a good thing. That means our choke is probably getting power. Let's find out. There you go, you see that? See it lighting up? Which means our solenoid should also be getting power. Good. So that means our automatic choke is working. All right, so I figured before I go digging and stuff, let's just see if we can get another pop off here. Yeah, sounds like she wants to take off for the hills. All right, everybody, there's a valuable lesson to be learned here. Sometimes I still don't know what I'm talking about. Does that look better? Somebody had this pushed all the way down and tightened, and that's why I was running basically full throttle. Originally I saw this hole here and I thought that the rod pushed down there, and I thought, well, that's weird. That's a little off there. That's actually the rod I'm talking about. And that was just stuck down there, basically full throttle. So it should run a lot better now. Let me pop you in the stand and let's see how that sounds. All right, so now that it's not full throttle, it's not stuck wide open, this should sound better. A lot better. Let me go get some regular fuel. Let's fill up that that float bowl and let's see if it runs all by itself for a little bit. Scared to put my hand in by that belt. Sweet, check that out. Hard to believe something like this. Check that out. It's able to run. Check this out. I don't know how that's hanging on there. Pretty cool. That just shows you wow, old VWs. Man, you know, I used to watch Musty One a lot when he used to do these, and learned a lot of things from him. I got a little lucky on this one, I guess. You know, didn't have to run any power. I thought, you know, the way it looks, definitely thought that a bunch of this stuff was definitely not going to be holding power, you know, those wires and stuff. I mean, pretty crazy. But so that's going to be it for Mr. VW. Kind of crazy. This is a project I honestly thought was never going to start to begin with. I mean, you got to see how some of this stuff looks. Oh, really bad. So not sure what to do with it, honestly. This is kind of a project that I told the guy I was going to pass on, and then when I got down there, he was like, what is it going to take for you to basically take this thing? So it's here, it runs. The scat exhaust sounds pretty cool. I'm surprised it's not all plugged up, but pretty cool, pretty sweet. It runs.